Hey, welcome to our Israel trip 2023 when we just had the ability to go and to see the Holy Land, experience the stories of Jesus firsthand with amazing people. And so I hope you enjoy this ride as we surely did, and I hope and pray that you take something from it too.
I changed John's language to Italian.
Buongiorno.
Why is it not English?
What's up? We're ready for Israel.
Hello. That's really soothing, Anchor.
Bear tired.
Bear tired.
So Ron got really excited because he thought he had the window seat. Turns out,
Well, let's take a look at Ron's window seats.
No window. Disappointment. Disappointment.
Hey, I was making a call.
So fast forward the airport, the checkout, a few of us being held back, waiting almost 3 hours in the Tel Aviv airport. We finally make it out with our driver and our bus, heading over to Bethlehem where we will be. Welcome to Bethlehem from our hotel. So, welcome to our first real stop. This is the Church of the Nativity, where they believe Jesus was actually born. We're going to come back to that in a second. There was actually a mass going on at the time. And so instead, our tour guide took us to a church, about a 5-minute walk behind the Church of the Nativity. This place is called the Church of the Milk Grotto. Basically, the story goes, at least this is the tale. Scriptures teach us that Joseph and Mary fled for Egypt because King Herod was looking for this Jesus. The Magi, or the three kings that came down, basically were told by an angel not to go back to Herod, and so he felt betrayed and he was looking for Jesus, and so Joseph and Mary were trying to escape safely. And the tale, so that's scriptural. The tale is that, they stopped here, there was a little bit of a cave as Mary was breastfeeding, some of her milk fell on the stone or the cave area, and it all turned white, and it was this amazing miracle. Again, it's just tale, don't actually believe it's true, but regardless, they built a church above this area, as you'll see actually on most areas. They built churches to preserve these sites. And so even the Church of the Nativity, they built this church over what used to be, the stable area that we know of through the scriptures, where Mary would have gone into labor and given birth to Jesus, which we will come back to in a sec. But I believe here we're actually going to walk in to this place just to, have a look. We're in Israel. You gotta have a look, right? You're probably noticing it now as well, but one of the things that first hit a lot of us was how commercialized a lot of these areas have become. And I think it takes a little bit of perspective to realize that millennia have passed. Churches have been built, churches have been torn down. There were wars in this area. in these areas. And so there's been a lot of change, and with that, we kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, and just trying to see and perceive and understand what we can with what we have currently. So, fun fact, when we entered the Church of Nativity, as you could hear my son crying, they didn't want to let us in. We got a bunch of people trying to give us stares, and our tour guide kind of got me a behind the scenes look. Instead of entering to the entrance, I entered to the exit. As you can see here in front of me entering, I gotta come in here, and this is the exact spot, the little, what kind of looks like our modern day fireplace. It's kind of like this little arch that they have rather built, where they actually believe this is where Jesus was born, and this is pretty accurate. Where the stable would have been. Actually, if we look to the right, we'll see where their animals would have been, and basically where Jesus was probably laid down to rest, and where Mary would have given birth. As you can see, it's pretty crazy crowded, but it's just surreal to think of where we were.
Hinnom Valley, and the second one is Kidron Valley. To your left is the Mount of Olive.
Now, why this is significant is because the Mount of Olives, according to Jews, was the place in which the Messiah was going to come and raise the dead. And so that's why now we're actually on the Mount of Olives, and we're looking down towards the city of Jerusalem, as you can see there. But the reason why there are so many graves here, I learned, was because they believed that this is where the resurrection was going to begin, and why Jews were this is where Messiah was going to come. And so this is why there are many notable rabbis' graves were built here, and kind of they were placed here for that reason. And so it's really neat. Some significant things happening here on the Mount of Olives, where Jesus taught, spent his last few days here at the bottom where the Garden of Gethsemane is as well, as we kind of take a look, looking where Jesus would have seen, this is where his demise was going to come, where they were going to crucify him as he made his way into the city, and as they dragged him out as well.
Hello! So many bugs. Here. Crazy.
This one's cool, guys. This is the Garden of Gethsemane, which is at the foot of the Mount of Olives, basically. And so this is us walking in. Many people ahead of us, many people behind us. There's a massive church that was built on this massive rock. As we read the scriptures where Jesus prayed, he was on a rock. And why they know this is the exact spot is because there's only one massive rock in this entire region, which is where they then built the church upon. And you kind of then get an idea that, okay, so this is the area in which Jesus would have been, right at the kind of like the foot of the Mount of Olives, which goes kind of like elevated on one side, and then on the other side you have the city of Jerusalem. And so this is where Jesus and his disciples would have been, where the disciples were falling asleep, and Jesus was praying to the Father. Not my will, but your will be done, as he later then got betrayed by Judas. So this is the Church of Gethsemane, where they built the church upon the rock that is actually towards the right hand side here where we are walking. There's obviously a church mass going on and many participating, many bystanders just observing. And us, we're kind of, more focused on getting to the place that's right by me right now as I'm standing here, which is part of the massive rock stone where Jesus would have been when he was praying. This is the outside as we continue to walk out of the Garden of Gethsemane and just taking in this monumental place, really. And us obviously struggling with our kids, trying to get them to walk. Honestly, my 3 kids did amazing with everything considered, taking a 5, 2-year-old and 1-year-old. Yeah, they definitely enjoy themselves. This is the outside of the Church of Gethsemane as we now start walking.
Wait, I'm not recording.
Up. Oh, we have a little vlog here from Jonathan. Oh.
Lots of honking. Beep. Welcome to John's vlog. Hey everyone, look at the bountiful land that we have here. Look at all the lush greens.
Pay attention to me, we need to cross the road.
Okay, we gotta go. John's vlog. Time for the B-roll.
You see the Israel traffic stress.
I think for me, one of the things that I struggled with was kind of like seeing that everybody was just doing regular day life, which mentally I understood, but I guess my heart just wasn't ready for it. Yeah, you kind of have to take it in quick and realize, you know what, you're gonna make the most of the moment, and you're gonna kind of just take in what's going on and recognize that these are monumental spaces, even if people here might not care as much. So I don't know where the rest of my footage went, but I skipped apparently us walking up into Jerusalem. So we entered the city walls and we got, or at least the outer walls, to the place where we are here, which, in case you don't know what this is significant. This is the upper room. Now, obviously, this building, the walls that you see here is not what it was before. The upper room all of this was built upon where they believe the upper room to be. You have to remember that all of this space was under different rulers and different power over the thousands of years that have passed. And so this was the space in which the upper room was, not necessarily here in these 4 walls. This is actually done up much later by other authorities and powers, and nothing to do with Christianity. So
That's not what I meant.
Vlogging a vlog.
Vlogging a vlog.
Yeah.
This is Jason. This is the back of Jason.
And this is the front of John. Come on.
John.
Come on.
This is the back of John.
So now we're going to, I think they said that this is Caiaphas' house. So Caiaphas is balling, bro. Look at this place, bro. Caiaphas got that money. Oh, so you see like a little picture of Jesus arrested there? I don't know if you can really see it.
Is this Caiaphas?
This is Caiaphas' base, bro. This is his house. Let's party at Caiaphas' house. No, that's awful. Sorry.
So we're gonna find that. We're gonna see that.
Yeah, so see, there's a picture.
So why Caiaphas' house was significant is because he was the high priest at the time, and this is where Jesus would have been brought and kept right from where we were, the Garden of Gethsemane, to basically a little holding place where Caiaphas would have had You can actually kind of see it from here, kind of where that circle thing is in the floor. That actually goes down deep into a cave, a very dark cave. And around here is where Caiaphas would have had a lot of leaders who did not want anything to do with Jesus, obviously where they built a church today. They want nothing to do with Jesus. He would have been kept in Caiaphas's deep prison cells. And so these were like the higher prison cells. But we're going to get to the deeper ones in a second. And this was probably one of the most powerful moments on our trip. We actually started singing and praying in this space where Jesus would have been held, basically on trial.
And you suffered at the hands of people who you loved, and that you came and you chose to die and take all of our place, to take all of our sins upon your shoulders, and to bear the weight of sin and to become a curse for all of us. And I thank you that even as we stand here and we see not even the most painful moment of your life, we are able to just get a glimpse into some of the suffering that you had and some of the shame that you must have felt being in this place, knowing that you were innocent and that everyone was blaming you and making you guilty. And this is the view from the courtyard of the church where Peter denied Jesus 3 times.
All right, so let's talk about something lighthearted for a second. The food was amazing. Oh my goodness. These shawarma wraps and the 1,000 other shawarma type, hummus type, falafel type things that we had were just amazing. Yeah, these were great.
So Jesus, when he came to you, always he stayed with his friends. Yes.
So in case you missed it, this is where Mary and Martha stay. This is their home. And you actually had to walk up the hill a little bit to get to what this is. This is the entrance of Lazarus's tomb. One of the most astounding things about this and getting to see this in person was not just the miracle of him raising from the dead, which is insane, okay? But the miracle of him somehow being fully wrapped in linens and making it through this thing. I had nothing wrapping me, and I could barely squeeze through this area. It was just so cool to see, all preserved 2,000 years later.
Taking me by the hand.
Jonathan, Brian, Russell, Ronald, Ruben, Zach, Carmel.
In order, in that order. I'm calling it wrong.
We don't listen to them.
Which one? Wait, this is wrong. Your name isn't called. Your name isn't Jesus? Hold on 1 second. Brian. Then Russell.
In Jesus' name.
Whoa! Can you get a picture of me?
Ryan, come out, now Polly. Amen, miracle. Yeah. Russell, come out. Thanks, guys. Ruben, come out.
I don't want to.
Now my pastor doesn't.
Now it's recorded.
Who is lying to me somehow because I know how to work something. Anyway, welcome to the hill that we went up, and now it's too late. But the footage wasn't great anyway. You couldn't really tell. But we just went up. Okay, we just went up. Super crazy hill. First gear, air conditioning off. Like it's just.
Yeah, this is called Death Valley. The hill is so steep that our tour guide basically told us that they had to turn off the AC so there was enough battery power for the engine that needed to push up this crazy steep hill. And so, yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, but okay, calm down. Okay, here's interview time in the van when air conditioning just came back on. Okay, Zach, what are your 5 love languages in order?
Giving or receiving?
Giving and receiving. So
Now that's like a true expert.
Now here's where we are walking to the Church of the Shepherds, actually, where the angels met the shepherds, where we then had an amazing meal, best meal of our trip, and immediately on to day 2, where this is at the Garden Tomb. This is actually where they believe Jesus was crucified, one of the spots that he could have been crucified. And this right here is a preserved tomb where they found a massive stone in front, and they believe this is the spot where Jesus was laid down. Very, very powerful. So today is actually probably going to be the worst walk for all of us, because we're actually going to be walking all throughout Jerusalem. And so what you're seeing here is the outer walls of old Jerusalem. As we're walking, we're kind of making our way through. You can see that it's pretty much a huge marketplace.
The Via Dolorosa, which is the road to Calvary. This is the road that Jesus walked on when he was carrying his cross.
And he put his cross on one of the mountains, and he died.
Yeah.
Well, he just gave it to the man. Oh.
So this spot was really interesting because this is the pool of Bethesda, where a man basically was healed who was lame. John chapter 5, you read, "Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool in Aramaic called Bethesda. And there was a man who was lame, and Jesus said, 'Get up, take up your bed and walk.'" And this is where it happened, which is so cool. We weren't actually allowed to be here. We kind of snuck in and then we're kicked out. But this was really neat. Okay, this one was significant. This is Pilate's quarters. This is where he would have been when he was sentencing Jesus. This is actually the exact spot that Jesus would have been whipped and lashed. In this courtyard here is where he would have taken all of the beatings and been sentenced.
This is where the words by his stripes we are healed comes from.
So this one was really interesting. We actually walked away from the courtyard a little bit inward to where they believe is another location where Jesus could have been buried, where Joseph of Arimathea's tomb would have been. And as you can see, these people are actually worshiping the slab almost, where some believe that Jesus might have laid down here, and they're literally worshiping. They're wiping their handkerchiefs on here. Literally looked like some sort of business they were doing and wiping these things. This is the actual tomb that they believe Jesus could have been buried in, and it's just an aerial view of the same spot. As you can see, they actually built massive churches to preserve these locations. The little kind of like through the window thing you see there is a stone slab. They believe to have been the slab that was removed from the tomb that we just saw earlier. It was found not too far from this spot. And that's significant because a massive stone like this wouldn't have been able to be moved that far necessarily. So, yeah.
Oh, so that little chip there is the last remaining piece of the rock.
Hey Ruben, is this the last lunch?
I got that immediately.
No way. You never get my toast immediately. This is the kind of quality that's taking up storage on this GoPro. Only the best. 3 fingers. I could add more fingers if I want. It's like you're trying to like summon something right now. Yeah, dark magician.
Oh my God.
Okay, John Williams. Welcome to Jerusalem. Na, 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 na.
The original Roman pillars. What I didn't say in the moment was the significance of this. These pillars would have stood during the time when Jesus was there. Now not all of the infrastructure that you are seeing would have been there during the time of Jesus, because a lot of things happened in Jerusalem and in the city. But it was just so significant that some of the floor that you see here, some of the pillars that you see here, not these ones, the ones that I was just looking at, would have been there during the time of Jesus, which is so significant to be able to see that Jesus might have actually touched these very pillars.
Okay, guys, this is the rooms and the names of the major commercial highway. Oh, cool.
So this one's really cool. We actually got a local person to explain to us what this wall was.
What is this?
This is the wall of Hezekiah.
Hezekiah.
So here's the deal. You see these stones, these rocks? Did you pick them?
No? No. How many friends? Maybe 3, 4 friends you put together.
Yeah.
Now, look at the wall over there. That's how high this thing was.
Wow.
Who the heck does that? Who the heck spends, weeks and, break your bones to do that?
Yeah.
People are scared out of their minds. The Babylonians from the north were coming to kill them. And in those days, they were coming to kill them, man. They came over weeks and months, but, they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
And they prayed to God what to do, and they listened to their leaders, and what they said was.
Now, this is what's known as the Wailing Wall, a wall that has stood for many years, that is part of the old city of Jerusalem, because you can see these walls actually right before you, they're new, and the ones behind you, they're much older, would have stood during the time of Jesus and before, which is quite significant. This is where many people will make a pilgrimage to come and to make their cries and prayers as Jewish people are awaiting the Messiah still. So here we begin walking up out of Jerusalem, which is a ridiculous trek, and on to day 3.
My disciple here in the night, given this experience, do you remember the experience in where Peter denied Jesus? Sometimes when you be in the place, you can understand more. Okay? Yeah.
Welcome to day 3. We have a few cool stops for today, starting with the Valley of the Shadow of Death. In Psalms 23, David says, I will fear no evil. When he's in this space, and it's not a metaphorical space, but a very real space. People knew about this place, and I think one of the scariest things is not only how massive it is, how dry it is, but also how lifeless it is. How you come here and you fall, you can get hurt, you can be hunted by some, predator animals, and there is nothing to save you. Just really brings to life so much more of what that psalm really means.
هذا كنيسة Greek Orthodox.
So driving all the way up to the Valley of Shadow of Death is one thing. Now driving all the way down where we were headed, which is towards Jericho, namely towards where they believe the Mount of Temptation is, and where Jesus was tempted, and we stayed in the cave there. These side mountain roads were so steep, so narrow. And like literally from our window, we could see the edge. It was so scary. What we are doing here is actually, we made it all the way down safely, thank God. But now what we're doing is actually going up another mountain peak where they believe this is the place in which Jesus stayed when he was being tempted. What's crazy is that if we thought the previous roads were narrow, these roads were even more narrow, and we weren't in a small bus, bigger bus, we were in a smaller bus, and all of us just kind of had to sit on top of each other and squeeze, as you can see. So the number of steps they had to climb after we drove all the way up was kind of insane. But we did it, and in the scorching heat, I might add. And then we finally were able to kind of get into this place and actually see one of the spots they believe Jesus kind of lived in.
Yeah, it doesn't. The end point is there.
Yeah.
And you walk to the bottom of the end, and you come down on there.
This is our view from Temptation Mountain, looking across to what is Jericho. Oh, this one's funny. The sun, guys, is so scorching hot here that if you're out just standing in the sun, you're being cooked alive. Like, it is so hot. You can see all of us hiding out in the little shade we can find, trying not to die of sweat, waiting for our vehicle to come so we can go back down the mountain. You ready? Yeah. Alrighty. So while we were waiting for lunch, we saw some camels with someone who was able to take us for a ride, and we rode some camels. I'm coming with you, okay? Sit first and I can sit behind you.
I don't want to sit.
Move your legs. Okay. I got it. Okay. Hold tight. Hold tight. We're running a camel. Our belly, look.
I'm riding a camel.
Are you Egyptian?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Grab my GoPro. I'll throw it to you. Wait there.
I caught it, guys. Caught it.
Cindy, we're doing True Love, the day that true love died. Go down, the day that true love died.
Here we are at a specific spot in the Jordan River that they've kind of made touristy, where you can visit and actually baptize people or be baptized in the Jordan River.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready? Go. Upon the confession of your faith, I baptize you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
So right after this, we were off to the Dead Sea, and it was fun because the salt water is so high in salt that our bodies really just float. We were so buoyant, you know. We were basically floating like a butterfly, and the water was stinging us like a bee because it was so salty. But it was fun. It was good, and we had a lot of fun. And we were here off to the next day, getting to see more sights.
Like, we're all vlogging different pieces. So it's like the perfect representation of the Gospels.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So if you watch all of them, you might figure out like everything that happened.
Yeah, and some stories might include some stories might not have it.
Exactly.
For those of you who know that story, this is Simon the Tanner's house. This is where Peter was, where he got the vision from God to go meet Cornelius, and this is right by the beach that we were just by, literally like a 30-second walk, and yeah, just significant things happened there. So we're about to go right now. to where Mount Carmel is, where the prophet Elijah called down fire from heaven, and that's just insane that this is the place where it happened. Leave it up to the Christians and culture to make a statue of Elijah in the spot that he called out other statues. So awesome. So after hitting up Mount Carmel, we came all the way to the Sea of Tiberias, also known as the Sea of Galilee, which is what you see here, absolutely breathtaking. We also had an amazing time staying at this hotel. The kids got to have lots of fun, but I think for me the winner was really just pondering all of the beautiful things that happened right here on this sea. This was, really close to Capernaum. This is really close to Nazareth. This is where Jesus would have been on the boat multiple times, where he would have called the disciples and he would have done some of the miracles and taught. What we did next was get a chance to walk along the Sermon on the Mount area. This hill, basically, not a mount, it's misleading. They actually say that Matthew would have indicated a mount related to how Moses went up on a mount to kind of make an address to Israel, in the same way Jesus was kind of metaphorically going up on this mount, but really was a hillside nearby Capernaum. As you can see, the Sea of Galilee right there. And this is where Jesus would have preached the Beatitudes. Is probably his most famous sermon, the one that's most well known. And so this is a significant spot, as we can see. They obviously built a church here to preserve the site, so that today we can kind of identify that this was a significant space in which Jesus preached the Sermon on the Mount here. And so definitely some positive to that as well.
And they make the bread in here. So when Jesus was there and say, I am the bread of life, that means not that bread outside, you are just want to finish the synagogue to go and buy some bread. I am the bread of life.
And now we just are very good.
Now speak something. History, open Wikipedia, you can see.
So here's something really significant. This was the local synagogue in Capernaum, which Jesus would have come and taught at. Capernaum, a significant place in which Jesus did a lot of ministry and talked, and had a lot of the stories that we see in the Bible take place right here. This synagogue is actually significant. It's ancient ruins that has been preserved so well. We were able to see a local synagogue here where the Jews would have actually come and had their discussions here and had their debates here and had different people teach here. Very interesting. In fact, at a certain time, all synagogues had to face the temple. This synagogue is so old that it was before that rule was imposed. And so it's actually really cool to be able to see the inside of this one synagogue, which is, again, not a temple, but more of a place of like religious thought, Jewish religious thought and discussion, and a place to be able to open up the Old Testament, the scriptures, and dive in. I'm sorry, I know you've seen this a few times, but I cannot get over the view of the Sea of Galilee from our hotel. Breathtaking. Next stop is the Church of... Actually, I don't know what this church is called. Basically, they built this church where they believed Mary was met by the angel Gabriel. They believe in tradition that it was by a well, and so this is kind of where they built this church to kind of preserve this site. As you can see, this well that is here. So if you walk up a little bit from here to another building, we actually get to the place where they believe that if the angel Gabriel didn't meet Mary by the well, then he met her here, which they believe is her bedroom. And so as you can see, they built a much larger church here. Here's the place where Jesus almost got thrown over a cliff because of the things that he was saying, and yet somehow was able to just kind of split the crowds and escape from this massive mob that wanted to kill him. And how they would stone someone during these days is they would toss them off a ledge or a cliff like this, and then make sure that they tossed massive boulders at this person if their legs hadn't broken, if they hadn't already been severely hurt at this point. And yet somehow Jesus was able to escape them, even though they had dragged him out up at this point. This was where Jesus met the Samaritan woman at the well.
Oh my God! That took so long. 5 seconds.
We are now making our way onto a boat to ride a boat on the Sea of Galilee. And that's it. That's the end of our video. Obviously, we didn't include everything just because we didn't record everything, but this was an amazing trip. We had a blast, and I hope you have been blessed.